Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. IBM replaces 7,800 workers with AI. I know, again, this isn't the usual men versus women and dating bad and men cleverly outthink the women on something. But this is something that's going to affect more and more and more jobs. And so I'm going to continue to talk about it. I know the AI stuff isn't something I normally talk about. Same thing with the LDHD TV stuff. I know this is not normally what you find on most red pill content men's channels, but you have to be aware of what is coming so that you can navigate the future that is being handed to us on not so much a silver platter, but on a silver-coated piece of wood. Like, it's not so good. It's going to burn to the ground. IBM replaces 7,800 workers with AI from PC Magazine. IBM plans to replace 7,800 jobs with AI. The company will pause hiring and expects up to 30% of non-customer-facing roles will be replaced by automation in the next 5 years. 30%. Now, what they say here is non-customer-facing roles, but they will have customer-facing roles, except that also is going to change because I have another article that I'm going to read from. Amid widespread concerns about the impact of artificial intelligence on the workforce, IBM CEO Arvind Krishna confirms the company will pause hiring and replace up to 7,800 jobs with AI. The transition will happen over the coming years, Krishna says in an interview with Bloomberg. The company estimates that 30% of non-customer-facing roles could be replaced by automation within 5 years. Some could come from not replacing roles as employees leave, or some could come from not replacing roles as employees leave. So they'll do layoffs, and then as employees decide to take employment elsewhere, they will not replace those with human beings. In January, and let me put this in, this is why it's important. Remember, a lot of service centers, a lot of manufacturing, a lot of production is all over the world. You know, call centers for a lot of these companies are like in Philippines and overseas places. So they're going to be affected as well. This is something that's going to affect everybody worldwide, even if it happens to be an American or a German or Australian company. My big fear is that they're going to come in and they'll say, well, we've taken away so many jobs, we're going to start putting in universal basic income, and that's basically welfare for everybody. There's no way to get ahead. There's no way to work harder than anybody else. There's no way to be smarter than everybody else. There's no way to get yourself ahead, and so you're just going to be locked in. You're going to be the same as everybody else. This is socialism. That's communism. But the companies will, and I don't know how they think they're going to be able to sell products when everybody's the same and has very little disposable income to spend. I don't know. In January, IBM announced it would cut 3,800 jobs. The New York Times reports, or just under half the 7,800 roles it says will now performed by AI. Layoffs have plagued the tech industry this year, with tens of thousands of employees cut from giants like Meta, Amazon, Twitter, and Microsoft. Roku, Disney, and Electronic Arts plan to do the same this year, 2023. PC Mag reached out to IBM for comment, including the job titles most likely to be affected, as well as how the company will measure performance of AI employees compared with human who previously filled those roles. We will update the story if the company responds. For decades, scientists and researchers who have worked closely with AI systems have warned about the technology's potential to replace human jobs. The launch of ChatGPT in November 2022 seems to have accelerated concerns. In December, the White House released a report on the impact of AI in the workforce, which says it's inevitable that workers in some jobs will be displaced because AI automates rather than augments worker tasks, and or workers no longer have the required skills to do the jobs. These adjustment costs and disruptions were also characteristic of previous technological upheavals, exemplified by the automation of the role of the telephone operator. However, because of the rapidity with which AI is evolving, these costs now may be partially accurate, or particularly accurate, the report adds. AI could replace an estimated 300 million jobs worldwide, the BBC reports. However, new positions will emerge as well, making the net impact on job creation hard to assess. I can tell you now, this is different than the horse and buggy days. You know, when everybody said, well, when the car comes out, who's going to replace, I don't know, the street sweepers and the stable masters and okay, yes, there's a point to that. But AI is going to come at you a lot faster and a lot quicker, and a lot smarter. And so it's not just that it can replace, I don't know, a telephone operator like back in the day. This can replace programmers. It's already writing code for Python and other scripts. It's going to replace writers. It's going to replace videographers. It's going to replace musicians. It's going to replace many of the menial tasks, and it will replace customer support. I have this other article here from NPR. This company adopted AI. Here's what's happened to its workers. Now, this is overseas, and I'm just going to jump right to they said the rise of cyborg customer service reps. And what they did is they had an AI script that went through and listened to all the calls and transcripts and texts that were sent between customers and tech support. And it was able to figure out the majority of problems, what customers were having, if they were similar, if they were different, and it could basically scrape through it. So what they did is they made this, and this is a very long article, so I'm just going to sum it up. What they did is they made the texts available, so when a customer says, I'm having a problem with this, the AI would listen, and then it would come up with a print response that the call center person could read from. So if they said, I'm having an error code such and such, ChatGPT would come up and say, okay, we've seen this before. What it looks like is this, try these steps. And they were able to resolve the issue faster. The average conversation between the agents and customers lasted about 40 minutes. And they have a high turnover rate. But now by implementing the AI, the amount of time it took to talk to the customer through the problem and to resolve it shortened. And they say now, let me find what happened. The Economist's big finding after the software company adopted AI, the average customer support representative became on average 14% more productive. They were able to resolve more customer issues per hour. That's huge. That means you can work more, work longer, work harder, maybe. The company's workforce is now much faster and more effective. They also apparently happier. Turnover has gone down, especially among new hires. Now you might say, well, that's great, man. That is benefiting the customer service tech, and I agree. But what happens when AI becomes a little bit more efficient at listening, a little bit more efficient at looking through its database, and it can respond in a natural human voice, which is already what's starting to happen. I mean, I have a button here that I put together just for fun. Let me push this button here. You'll hear what I'm talking about.
Warning. The following content contains images and opinions of a white, straight, toxic male. Viewer discretion is advised.
I put that together for fun, just to put as an intro if I ever do something controversial. I just typed that into a little chat thing, and it generated it for me. They're coming around to where they can make it sound more and more and more natural. And at some point, they will program in where it doesn't sound quite so perfect, ironically. If you guys have ever looked at me doing images, if an image is too perfect, it actually tends to make people believe it's not true. But if you program in skin flaws and moles and freckles and little wrinkles here and there, people look at it and they say, wow, that looks really realistic. Why? Because the skin has texture. Because there's wrinkles or freckles or moles or natural things that occur on non-perfect human beings. When they redo these voices, they're going to find that they're going to get it perfect to where it sounds very professional, just like that voice I just played for you guys. And it sounds like a human being, but it sounds too scripted. Then they're going to rough it up a little bit. They're going to put some ums and some ahs, and the AI will learn how to go, let me look into that. Instead of please hold, they'll change it up. And then the customer service reps will be out. This is going to change the world, and it's going to change very soon in the next year or two. And right now we don't know what jobs it's going to replace. It'll start slow at first, and then it'll happen very quickly. And I think if you don't have your ducks in a row, and you don't have your future planned out to where maybe you're ready for some, because you're never going to have AI. You know, robots take a lot longer to fix something than AI does. Like they don't have the tactile feel. They don't have the ability to assess by looking at something yet. We're probably 10, maybe 15, 20 years off from that, at least hopefully. So you guys that are doing programming, you guys that are lawyers, you guys that are maybe doctors, you're still going to have some jobs, but it's going to be a lot less. Maybe it might not be so much the lawyer that's in trouble. Maybe it'll be the paralegal, that a lawyer can sit down and say, find me a case in case history that has this and this and this, and it can be spit back versus a paralegal digging through documents. I don't know exactly what paralegals do, so I may have gotten that completely wrong, but you get my idea. Where a doctor has to have all this medical knowledge, but now a nurse, or maybe someone that doesn't make as much money, can go in and say, here's the symptoms that the patient has. Here's and it'll spit out, here's 8 things to look at. Well, you just saved yourself a lot of time. So you may not need as many doctors because you can work through patients faster. I'm not sure where this goes, but I can tell you, putting a roof on a building, wrenching on a broken shower head, doing manual labor will probably be the only place where you can really still be self-sufficient when it comes to income. I don't know where all this goes, but I can tell you it's something to pay attention to very closely. Don't just think, who cares? These things matter. They matter a lot. And I just think it's something you need to pay attention to. I think this is important for men to know because it's going to take away your financial independence. It's going to take away your financial freedom. Once enough workers are replaced by AI and there's a large segment that is unemployed, the governments will come out and they're going to say, well, we're going to charge these companies X amount of percent, and they're going to pay the government, and then the government is going to take its VIG, it's going to take its cut, and then it'll give it out to the masses as, basic income. And maybe you find another job to work on top of that, to try to separate yourself and set yourself better off than others are. Maybe you don't. I don't know. But I'll tell you right now, I'm glad I'm looking at land. I'm glad that I'm going to be putting on attachments to get all my water filtering and everything ready for my farm, because I honestly plan, hopefully, in the next year to 2, I plan to have my own rainwater collection, my own solar panels and electricity, my own livestock, my own vegetable and fruit gardens and honeybees, and I got a lot to do in the next couple of years. I don't know if I'm going to get it done in a couple of years, and I know I've got at least 8,000 more mistakes I'm going to be making. But that is my plan. I'm not saying it's the right plan for you, but being not dependent on anyone else for anything, including a government, it makes me sleep better at night. Because it seems the more you become reliant on a government, the worse they treat you and the worse life quality you have. And that seems to be universal throughout history. Guys, I will leave it there. I'm still looking for more dating profiles of the day, so I will get there shortly. Also, I'm still working through all of you that have so kindly messaged me over on Locals. I will get through those messages, I promise. And also, if you're just a member, please consider becoming a supporter today. It's really, really important to me. It helps me keep independent from YouTube and Rumble and all that other stuff if they decide to nix my channel. And it's $5 a month. It would mean a lot. Even if you just do it for a few months, come over, check out the forums. There's a lot of great posts, a really good interactive group of people over there where we share a lot of the messages and the information you don't get on mainstream media anymore.